Okay, welcome to the channel today. So for those of you who've been watching, we've been playing a lot of Dungeon Defenders 2 lately, and to top it off, today we've got Josh Isom in from the Dungeon Defenders 2 Trendy Entertainment. He's the community manager over at Trendy Entertainment, and he's the guy that's probably been answering a lot of your questions you've had around the game. And if you were watching the dev stream earlier on today, he was answering any of the questions in chat, or at least promoted some of the questions in chat. So he might just be disappearing for a quick second, but without further ado, I'm going to open up the TeamSpeak channel, and we're going to go ahead and look at getting towards the game.
Sound resumed.
Okay, you should be able to join the party now, Redley.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just setting up my Twitter too. Just putting it on Twitter just in case anyone wants to.
We've got buttons and sounds popping everywhere today. It's brilliant. We actually have an update as well. We've been shown, thanks to... I have to double check his name now because I'm a horrible person. We've been shown how to do the bronze covered enemies thanks to Crafe earlier on today. If you haven't seen him yet, do catch his stream. He's a fellow streamer. I think he's still doing Dungeon Defenders 2 at the moment. Okay, we're just waiting for Josh to get back to us.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Just to let you know, we are open to the community as well. And I think we're just waiting for Radley to join the game.
Sounds good.
Alright, that's me. Alright. Look at me just joining right now.
There you go. On your level 11.
Oh, I just realized I brought my wrong hero, that's why. Well, that's a good start, yeah.
You could have changed the deck of the hero manager.
I don't know, that's what I was doing. I just finished the game, so
Okay.
now I'm just gonna switch over to my 25.
We made the horrible mistake of leveling up our characters and not leveling up 2 extra classes as well. Because
Yeah.
in full honesty, we're complete Dungeon Defenders noobs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's totally fine. About to carry the team on my back.
Yeah, it's all yours. Because we've never actually heard of Dungeon Defenders up until the PAX South board.
Oh, nice.
And I kind of saw the bit of the preview game that you guys put on and was like, oh, this seems really interesting. How can we play this? But I got talking to my boss at work about it, and my boss kind of had this sudden gleam in his eye and started regaling me in stories about how he used to play it with his kids. So I got really interested.
That's amazing. We hear so many stories about people who play Dungeon Defenders as a family, which is just incredible. A lot of kids play Dungeon Defenders as either their first tower defense or strategy game, and sometimes their first 3D game, they've been playing Angry Birds or whatever the kids are playing these days. But yeah, sometimes Dungeon Defenders is their first transition into 3D gaming, which is just kind of badass.
That's it. I think the other bonus is the fact that you guys had it out on the consoles originally. My boss was on about how he used to always play on Xbox 360.
Yeah, exactly. And it was free for everyone if you owned a 360.
Yeah.
For a month there.
I completely missed that. It wasn't until yesterday someone popped in chat and went, oh, it was on Games for Gold. It was like, oh, really? So I was quite upset to miss out on that, actually, because I swapped over to the Xbox One recently.
Oh yeah, how do you like the Xbox One?
It's pretty fun. Some nice games on it. I'm hoping Dungeon Defenders comes out on it at some point. I'm praying.
So we're PS4 exclusive right now. So gonna have to pray a little harder.
I'm sure we can arrange something. I'll pray daily. We'll work some out. I think we noticed that on your dev stream earlier on today as well, because we were looking at the roadmap for development. You got some interesting things coming out.
Did anything pique your interest?
I think the main thing for me at the moment, obviously not playing the original Dungeon Defenders, is more of the how the pets are going to integrate and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, one of the main things I'm trying to work out is it going to be pets in the sense of Fly FF, if you ever played that, similar sort of graphic style, where they pick up items, or is it going to be purely towards combat buffs, or is it going to be a bit of both?
So I can't exactly answer pet questions at the moment.
Of course.
Mostly because the design of the pets, I believe, has just been finalized, but I think it still needs like possibly just a tiny bit more of agreement among everybody.
Yeah.
But we should be able to talk about pets in earnest fairly soon. They're not coming out for like a while though, so those details are still
under wraps.
Still to be determined. Yeah. Oh, do we want to go ahead and get this rolling?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, sure.
Throne room okay with everyone, or do we want to try something different besides the throne room grind?
If I don't mind, throne room's pretty simple. We've kind of like nailed down everything that we need to do for it. Just all the
let's roll it.
strategies. Yeah.
I was actually watching Crafe's stream just a bit before this one, and I think one of the things we found out, one of the big problems we have is we don't look at the lane resistances properly. So picked up some nice hits.
At the moment, those lane resistances aren't, too big of a deal, but we are kind of kicking around the idea of either feature modes or potentially feature game types where the lane resistances really matter, and you kind of have to pay attention to the type of defense you're laying down, as well as like the number and your upgrades.
Ah, okay. So which means if we ever go against the chrome-plated enemies again, we could fail as miserably as we did last night. I think we like barely lasted the first round. It was quite impressive.
We did not even last the first round. Did not last at all.
That is beautiful. I wish I could have seen that.
Oh, you'd have loved it. We kind of went in all full of bravado. This is going to be easy. We'll be fine, and ended up crying.
Yeah.
So I dropped my mana here in the middle if anybody wants to pick that up.
Yeah, that's the one thing I like about how it's one of the tactics too. If you're range and you kind of lose mana. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The game says mana is the building, but the blue, I don't know what that's called, so I'm not too sure what is called mana.
It's a really funny story. I don't think we have a name for it either. Actually, let me check my key bindings. We may have given it a name. Yeah, it looks like we went with ability mana and defense mana. This was like a huge debate internally. Like, what are we calling this like resource? I think that one of the issues we had was, like in DD1, everything was just called mana, and you used it. So, do we still call it mana, or do we call it like some weird name and then call the other thing mana? But I'm glad we finally settled that in terms of our key bindings.
What's quite horrifying is we've been referring to it as mana all the way through. So anyone that's been watching the stream has been really confused. It's just like, drop the mana. I mean, we had a guy pop in the game yesterday who was like, can you drop me 40 mana? And we're stuck there dropping blue points.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with that, I would say.
Yeah, I think internally the most popular name, despite what it's called on our options, we just call it green mana and blue mana.
That makes
Seems
sense.
to work. So, who's got what here?
I've got bottom. Don't worry about that. I always have bottom. And no matter what, I always seem to pass it, so unless you believe I will fail, then you can have it.
Yeah, so we've kind of got the squire at the bottom and the apprentice towers at the top.
I think I need to change my push to talk key because it's kind of difficult for me to move around and talk at the same time, so let me do that real quick.
No worries.
No worries.
Did you just say no or no worries?
No worries.
No worries.
No!
No.
There is no such thing as changing push to talk keys in this game.
Like, well, so far, I would say in the throne room, you don't really need to, it was just most likely game, gear, because I haven't really seen that you kind of need a specific type of class in certain zones.
Yeah, so particularly can you hear me right now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Oh, perfect. It does work. So, like, right now, the kind of mantra is just damage is damage, right? Like, the resistances only matter a tiny bit. So, generally speaking, you can just lay down some, damage-dealing defense, particularly in these low playlists, and you'll be fine. I'm not sure if that was your remark. I may have misheard you.
Oh no, that was it was perfect because I was just basically just saying you need specific classes for like different sections. So it was just more like just put down the highest tower that you have. That'd be fine. Because I remember, what was it? We were struggling so badly in throne room, and then once we actually got the gear, we then moved into like 2 levels above us. The one before, was it 25 plus plus plus?
Yeah.
And we weren't doing so well there, but we managed to at least hold them off until the 3rd or 4th wave, where we managed to get a lot of legendaries, which then boosted us up.
I see you guys have been playing incursions because of this build.
We don't really with one window control. It was a bit pointless with putting the towers. I know you can survive and actually put towers there, but I thought I'd just let all the forces come downwards. It would it kind of helps out a lot.
Yeah, definitely. It's so much easier to turtle on this map. I kind of wish that we had some feature that just totally ruined turtle builds.
Oh, that'd be really good. And it just randomly like happens.
Yeah, just like every so often it just totally destroys your towers if you build next to the core. I know so many players would hate that, but I would personally just enjoy those tiers.
You could put you could do that like in a different mode, like is it power radiation? That could actually slowly damage over time, which then you would have to constantly keep repairing, so then you can have to move it out the way.
I think a lot of the, from what we've been seeing from chat and stuff like that, a lot of the hardcore fans would probably appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I've noticed that you get more legendaries in Throne Room than you do in other maps, unless that's just totally just random.
I think what you're getting at there is Max as an RNG god.
So if you're talking about Throne Room in terms of another map, I'm trying to think. I honestly haven't played the free play 20 and 25 plus and plus plus. I've mostly been spending my time on the incursions. So like, I know that the more special enemies that spawn, the more legendary loot you're likely to get, because special enemies have the highest chance to drop legendaries. So if Throne Room happens to have more special enemies than say Ramparts or other maps in the playlist, then yeah, that's probably why you're seeing more legendaries.
Well, I was wondering, the tauntability on the bosses, is that part of the way it's supposed to be, or is that just
Are you kind of getting towards how you can kite enemies away?
Yeah, how you can kite the enemies. I was just wondering, is that like part of it, or was just something that's was not part of it at all?
Yeah, kiting is definitely intended design. You can actually do it on any enemy. So like, if you, as an apprentice, for example, run up on an orc and you get like right in like, you know, whatever you want to call it, his personal bubble, you get right up on him and you shoot him, he'll actually turn to you and then you can kite him away. So, you know, that's just kiting on a bigger scale. I like to call it the ogre dance. When you run up on him and then you can just kind of like jump back just a little bit. He swings, then you run up on him again to make him swing again. So he just stays in one place. It's definitely intended design.
Like we managed on incursion mode just to what was it, bug one of the bosses so we can have time to at least respond back. It was like he does like a safety dance and he just goes back and forward in the one spot, and we're just like, oh, that's perfect, thank you, please don't remove that bug.
I love that you called it a safety dance.
Yeah.
This is the one thing it's like because the 3 bosses, you have to have 3 people kind of kite them out of the way and one person kind of slowly bring him in do DPS, and then.
Hi there, Bionic Monkey. Welcome to the chat today.
And, well, one has to be kited out.
Don't forget, we've got community manager from Trend Entertainment in today. He's playing the Hunters at the moment. If you've got any questions you might have, don't forget to ask him.
That was key to my survival on my first campaign mode run.
That was my bad, I forgot to press G. I'm normally the first person to always press G, and this is the first time where I've just not been pressing G.
I've got that recorded, by the way.
I know. We got that recorded. Will there be other types of monsters coming in, or are these these are just going to be the monsters that's going to be now in the game?
So we definitely have plans for more enemies, but new enemies kind of taking a back burner to some of the new systems we're making.
Yeah.
You know, we've got we just went through like a massive revamp of our map progression, which, you know, took quite a bit of effort. And then we've got our spec nodes version 2 coming up, which again, can't really talk too much about it, but I am very, very excited for that thing. I literally stayed up until 3 a.m. thinking about the possibilities. So I think, oh god, I'm hyping it up. I don't want to hype it up. I'm just excited to hear what players have to think about it whenever it comes out.
That'd probably be great. I mean, like, honestly, like, I'm just so far, like, what we're seeing right now, just like going on to incursion mode. It's like a bit of a Diablo effect. You know, go to the next hard level, go and just keep grinding for that gear, just to find it. Because sometimes legendaries do drop, and you're like, oh yes, it makes a little humming noise. Well, my sound's always off, but James always has his on, and it just makes this humming noise, and you're just like, oh, I know it's there. Just wait.
I think Bionic Monkey, this guy is the guy that if you ever post on the forums or view the Twitch stream, he is the guy that will generally be responding to you as well as on the Twitter feed. He is the main person that interacts with the community on a grand scale.
Like an issue with my speakers. I was like, do I have a tumor? What is this like humming noise? And then I saw it and I was like, oh, you clever bastard.
I so look out for that little noise and the little massive flash that pops up on the screen as well as this drop. It's like, yay!
And it points it to you, and just you're like, oh yes.
I want to know if anybody ever misses a legendary, because there's just so many notifications. It's a bit overkill. It's like chat drops on screen, like little icon, big glowing orange, like loop beam. Just like, here's the legendary.
I think the thing you're missing is the screen shaking and twirling around.
Oh yeah. It's like the legendary caused an earthquake.
Yeah.
Let's see, is there anything we need to upgrade right now? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna switch to my monk and drop some boosts.
Ooh. I think that's still a bit of a feedback there, Redley.
I'm not speaking. Oh, okay.
It's our sound coming through, or my sound coming through your headphones.
Yeah. Well, I can't extend my microphone as far as I can. Sorry about that. I'll just turn the volume down.
Are you in the same room by any chance?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, he's in a different area. He's in England while I'm abroad, up in Scotland.
I'm
American, so I assume that those are like 10 feet away from each other.
I think in terms of American miles, yeah, pretty much. Because I was over there recently down in South Carolina with my family, and they were like, oh yeah, it's just a short driveway to like, because I was landed in Texas first, then going to South Carolina, and they're like, well, there's no way we can pick you up, it's like a 12-hour journey. It's like, really? It seems just around the corner from you guys.
Yeah, that's a hell of a drive. Oh my god, that would have been brutal. I actually I have a friend, or actually a friend and her husband who just drove from Florida to Wyoming, which is just an epic, like 30, maybe even 40-hour drive, man. It is the most brutal trip.
Yeah, I don't think we could ever do that sort of trip in the UK.
No.
Unless you start driving into the ocean, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
We can drive to France because of the tunnel.
Yeah.
There's a tunnel?
Oh yeah, there's the channel
like
tunnel.
Underground?
Underwater.
No, underwater.
What?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Trying to think, maybe 70s, maybe? I don't know.
I can't confirm or deny any of that.
I know. I think it's some...
Did someone just have the clever idea to build a tunnel underwater?
Okay,
It
so
was
what
under
was crazy?
We've had the money, let's just build a tunnel to connect our countries.
So one of
Was
the
it-
questions we had in chat yesterday, which you might be able to help us answer, one of the questions we had
No.
was from the original. Oh, fine, but we'll walk away then. One of the questions we had was, are the character sheets and items server-side now? Because apparently they used to be client-side in the original Dungeon
Yeah.
Defenders.
Yeah, so everything is stored server side. One of the big issues in DD1 was everything was stored client side, so it was super easy to pretty much modify your save data and
Yeah.
hack your way to the best gear.
And some crazy item mods, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, like I remember one time this guy invited me into his tavern, and there's a chicken that you can unlock in DD1, and he had a modified version of the chicken that was larger than the tavern. You would just every so often it was like floating through the ceiling, and it would just kind of like peek its gigantic head down and just like wink at you. And
That sounds pretty creepy.
he recorded that and then posted online. It was my reaction to a gigantically hacked chicken. I was like, thanks for that, man.
Totally took
He
me by
actually
surprise.
became one of our moderators.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the way to do it. Make an impression.
Exactly. He had to promptly sell that chicken though.
I've got to ask, not being a player of Dungeon Defenders 1, what was the chicken used for?
The chicken was used. Oh man, I actually don't really know why people used it. I know that it was probably the best pet in the game before we started adding in some of the crazier pets. But it was unlocked by getting all the achievements, at least the original ones. I believe. I need to go and think back on that because I personally didn't unlock it. I used some of my special dev powers to get myself
Of course.
a chicken. It's one of the perks. But yeah, it was actually a reference to a game that a sister company put out.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Called Chicken Coop.
Never played Chicken Coop, unfortunately.
I don't think many people have. I don't blame you or hold any grudges against you for that one.
He's lying, really. He's going to curse our names as soon as he leaves.
God,
Oh yeah, you've been blacklisted from everything.
Oh, at least please just don't kick me from Dungeon Defenders.
Yeah,
That's what
well-
I mean, like I've worked so hard with my gear, and least I'd have is someone kick me from ban me from the server. I'm like, oh no.
For not playing Chicken Coop, yeah, it'd be devastating.
Like I'll play it now. I promise.
I can just picture you like on your knees begging, "I'll play your game, I promise. Don't take away my addiction." It's like, you may need some help.
Oh yeah, he's been putting it. I think, in all honesty, this is one of the first games I've seen him play, because we started playing this off and we were like, okay, this is a kind of a weird game, because we're very big MOBA fans. So we're kind of used to the whole free lane setup and everything else. So we're like, oh, this is pretty easy. We can chill out on this, no problem. And get to the second map, yeah, we're fine. Fourth map, oh my god, we're dying. What's going on?
We were fighting with each other, stay in each other's lane. That's how bad it got to. We're like, stay in your own lane. Especially when people come by and just, like steal your greens, build point and build mana, and I was just like, no, what are you doing? Don't worry, I don't hold that against you. I saw you come down earlier and steal my greens.
That's why he kept
Just had to
silent.
mention.
Yeah, he said someone, but he really meant you.
The story mode, I was wondering, when like is there like implemented a story mode? Like I know obviously there is a story mode, but I was saying like do you know when the release date of the story mode will be put in or implemented in?
It's probably going to come in throughout early access. We've got ideas of adding in certain things at certain times. Like one of the reasons why we moved toward the campaign mode was that it's actually easier to add in kind of a linear campaign. That wasn't really the case beforehand, but our early access players said that they enjoyed the DD1 system of moving from map to map and kind of feeling like you're progressing through the game. So Yeah, in terms of like when are you going to see elements that let you know that it's a story mode? I would say sooner rather than later. We're cooking up something, kind of as we speak. But when will that get to you? You know, development kind of doesn't always happen the way you think it would. I mean, it happens the way we think it is. It's totally planned. But if I told you like where we are and then when you'll get it, you know, it's definitely not what you would expect.
As a software architect, I can fully appreciate that.
Yeah, you know, like QA testing always takes a little bit longer than you kind of expect. You're always finding new bugs, and we tend to like to include some time for iteration. So we actually did some play tests on kind of a first pass of what we're thinking on today, and you know we're going to iterate on that. We've got some time set aside though to kind of like a planned discovery time.
Okay.
Kind of how you think of it. So we have time for like these set tasks that we already know we want to do, and then we've got time for like iterating on things that we're just kind of like thinking of. It's pretty interesting.
So one of the things I've got to ask you about from reading the roadmap today, and you might probably not be able to comment on it too much, but you mentioned in the roadmap a wave-directed game mode. Is that going to be a mode for players to be able to create their own dungeons and how things are going to go, similar to sort of like the Fable Legends sort of setup?
Well, that's a beautiful idea. That's not what the Wave Director is,
well.
but I personally would love to see. It would be amazing to have some kind of like Dungeons and Dragons mode where you have somebody who's kind of like dictating the quest that you're on the map. I think that'd be beautiful. But no, Wave Director is actually this really interesting idea that I don't believe I can talk too much about, but essentially it's a way to keep each run fresh. Kind of the idea of not seeing the same run twice.
Okay.
And there's a lot involved with it, but yeah, I'm actually sworn to secrecy on that one. I honestly,
makes sense.
My boss would probably slap me upside the head if I told you more, but yeah, that's one that won't come in for quite some time, but that's one that I'm definitely really excited to see, particularly as I'm kind of grinding out the same map over and over.
We can appreciate
we're all
that.
kind of aware of like the monotony that can kind of happen with Dungeon Defenders as you're grinding out for loot, and you know we're gonna attack that situation in different ways with like different modes and you know of course new content and you know new heroes and things of that nature. But definitely it's an idea of trying to increase the longevity of the game beyond what's currently there.
I think it's also remember the fact that it is a pre-alpha. You're still developing and bringing new things to the game. So even if you are, you've got to level 25, you're grinding out the content, the gear. Within the next month, there could be loads of new content and new things to explore.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This game is still really early in development, so you're going to be seeing a lot of new features and a lot of iterations on existing features. Some of these features are kind of a first pass or maybe even third or fourth pass, and they're not nearly where they should be. For example, the spec nodes, that's kind of the first pass on spec nodes, and you're going to see the second pass of it in the near future, and probably see even more iterations of that system as you go through early access. And the beautiful thing about early access is that we can do this iteration process with our community, and we can get their feedback every step of the way. Whereas before, when you're doing a game development on, kind of the traditional AAA cycle of, keep this thing close to your chest for 3 years and then let people see it, you don't really get the public feedback iteration unless you do. I'm going to take an example that I really appreciated, which was Halo 5's beta. Yeah. I don't know if you had the chance to try that or not.
Oh yeah, big Halo fan.
Oh yeah, same here. I'm like a huge Halo fanboy, and I think they did something incredibly smart, which was, of course, they had a lot of backlash with Halo 4. It wasn't what a lot of fans wanted, so they put out a beta a year before the game was going to come out, so that they can actually use that feedback to iterate. Most AAA games use betas as just like a kind of like a glorified demo, which is a little bit silly, but I guess it works for them. But a year before they're coming out. It's just incredible. Actually, I'm gonna ogre kite, and I need to like let go of this push to talk. So hold on.
No worries.
No worries. I was just wondering I was gonna kite if I saw you do it.
Yeah, I thought I'd grab that quickly. And now I've got the new lifesteal. It's a lot easier to kite these.
I'm not gonna lie, but a legendary did drop for me. And I was gonna say that, but I was like, I don't know.
Have you got the hum enabled yet?
Yes, that's how I heard it.
That's good.
And also it came up on my chat, and also had the button. That's it.
Oh, there we go. You didn't have the screen shake though.
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
And we airmailed you a letter that said that you received a legendary.
I was wondering also, sometimes I do disconnect from the game. Personal, it's nothing to do with the server at all. It was more like my internet. I do disconnect. I was wondering, and the items are actually all around the map, and I was wondering if you do disconnect, is there a possibility for it to get mailed back to you or anything like that?
Well, it's really interesting. You know, it doesn't do that right now. I'm actually not sure if that's technically feasible. You know, I'll actually run that idea by our team after this. And you know, if you get disconnected, you know, it's kind of a sudden, unplanned disconnect from the server. So, you know, if the game wouldn't have time, I would leave to kind of check and throw things into some kind of box, like the temporary item box. But I'll ask and see if that's actually technically feasible, because I would love that. You know, connection drops for whatever reason, just be able to not lose that loot that you just found.
Yeah, exactly. I think the last thing you want is to have a terrible snowstorm and power cut, and you've just lost all your legendary loot, and you just sat there in tears. As you know, from what we've seen on UK news for more than anything else, is that the US seems to be covered in snow at the moment, and power cuts seem to be a huge thing.
Yeah, we'll say though that if your power goes out and you sit there and you're wondering about the loot that you just lost, you might need to reevaluate some of the things. Like,
yeah, and more is just trying to get candle lit again.
Yeah.
Than the loot that's coming into my bag.
How can I get my oil-powered PC working?
I have, speaking of snow, I haven't been able to leave my house in a week, so I've been stuck up here. I live on top of a mountain, and I don't have four-wheel drive because I'm an idiot, so I can't actually leave.
Now,
I'm living off of what's left in my house.
Now, that sounds like well-planned more than anything else.
Oh yeah, I totally don't fault that on myself. I totally blame it on Anchorman and any other outside force that isn't me.
As is only natural.
Because I am perfect.
I
don't make mistakes.
I was just going to say about trade. Is it possible to be trading items to people? I know there's going to be a shop, but I was just trading them to someone. Like, say, I've got an item that my friend could use, well, James, right now. Is it possible I could just trade that to him?
This is why you should have watched the dev stream.
So it's not possible at the moment, but it is a feature that we are planning on adding in.
Okay,
that's we
cool.
We are trying to figure out the specifics, because you know, Diablo had a big issue with, like, you know, trading in auction houses and things of that nature. So we're trying to make sure that, you know, we don't fall into the same pitfalls as other games, even including, you know, our previous game, which had certain issues with trading.
I was thinking, what about, like, if you put it in a way of people are like whoever's in that map, you can trade it from them, trade them crosswards. But once you're out that map, that's it. Like, or put like a time limit of whoever. Like, I would say, like Diablo, you can just spot out, throw out a legendary, and have like a little timer and the people's name underneath it, like something like that.
So yeah, we're certainly throwing around ideas like that. You know, we like that system, but again, we have that on our schedule quite a ways away to kind of like figure out that system. We know that we want it in, but we don't know the implementation of it just yet.
It seems to be an occurring theme with a lot of your guys is you all seem to be very big Diablo fans.
I know a lot of people in the studio are. I personally have played Diablo 3 for 20 hours, but that was pretty much it. I was more of a Borderlands dude.
Okay.
I'm like a big first-person shooter.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh man, Borderlands. I played the first game like crazy, and then the second game I put like 15 hours into, maybe. I don't know. There's some. I think it was a well done game. There's just something that didn't click with me.
It's just that quirky humor as well, which kind of keeps it at it.
Butt stallion. Beautiful. So what map do we want to do, or do you want to upgrade? I can just run around and amuse myself while you're doing your thing.
Unfortunately, I actually am upgrading. And
So,
it takes me a while.
Whilst you do that, and this might come into, again, territory that you can't talk about, and probably about the tower customization, is there's a lot of rooms in the tower that at the moment seem to be empty, or doors that lead off to places, or like this wonderful table over here that says secret meetings.
So first of all, I wanna comment on the fact that you called it the tower.
So I keep saying tower, I'm sorry, I'm a big Destiny player. It's
Yeah,
the
I was about to
tavern.
say, man, you've been playing way too much Destiny. Oh man. First of all, let's comment on how amazing Destiny is, despite its lack of content.
Yes, that what put me off it massively. I mean, I went straight into the game, got addicted, but the lack of content and just the same rep grind, it just wasn't that great. But still a good game though.
Let's answer your question first, and then we can talk about Destiny, because I really want to talk about it. So I can't answer secret meetings. It's a secret. That's why Phil, when he answered it on his stream, he was just like, nope, and then he like straight moved on to the next question. It was beautiful.
Well, I shall leave that as a mystery and ponder over the table some more.
But I will say that the tavern was created to be expandable, and to be it's called modular design. So we definitely created it with like future expansion in mind.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll see like a lot of rooms that are closed off that we might use for something in the future.
Would there be like a secret room up here? Because I mean, I could jump onto the.
I was waiting for that to come in.
I was, because you could jump up onto the wall up here, if you can see me, like up here. And then I was wondering, would you put like a secret room or like a legendary like quest line or something like that? That's a good one. I was wondering, would you put like a legendary quest line also?
So there may or may not be a secret room up there.
I knew
How
it.
dare you find our secret ledge so hidden.
That's the one thing I like, is that you can just jump around and kind of like explore the tavern in different places, and just not like ban people or like block from people from running around. Because you can go on the chandelier, and then I started singing the chandelier song, which many people don't want to hear that. But
I was about to say, please don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of us kind of subscribe to the I call it the Blood Gulch level design.
It's
Blood
a
Gulch
World of
being
Warcraft
the
player.
well, I was thinking the Halo 1 map of Blood
Oh,
Gulch,
okay, yeah, we can do that.
where everything you can reach it if you can get to it, but it's a huge blocked off canyon.
Yeah.
So it's created with boundaries in mind, but yeah, generally speaking, if you can jump on it and go over there, you should be able to go over there. Yeah. And we're kind of exploring new ideas with our level design in the future of potentially rewarding you for looking around.
Oh, that's actually cool. Because I've got the notebooks that they do drop on mobs, and just reading into it, and so far I kind of got adjusted the quest line just a little bit. I'm not sure if that's part of it, but how the kingdom's now being under attack, and so far no one's actually helping the king.
Yeah, exactly.
And he does, unfortunately, spoiler alert, it does look like he does die, because I mean his son, I presume it's his son, the prince, is like
It's just some
holding the
random
crown.
guy. It's not actually the prince at all.
And he's totally not in multiple maps.
Not at all, not at all. We've not been spotting him at random intervals.
Would there be a possibility to move the cart out of the way just to make it adjacent? Just like change tactics if it does get crazy. Like I know there's gem carts. Would you be able to pick it up and quickly move them somewhere else?
As in, like, the actual core itself?
Yeah, not like, because in Throne Room you have the actual core, and then you have the cart.
So another
Yeah.
main goal.
Yeah, which is another main core. But I was wondering, like, but since it has like wheels or something, I was wondering, could you be able to possibly to move it or at all?
I promise you, you are the first person who's ever mentioned that. And now that I think about it, it's like a crazy, like, logical and fallacy of our part of just like, here's a core that has wheels that you can't move out of the way. It's dangerous. It's like, no, I gotta build around it. I swear, guys, this is definitely the smartest way to do this. Wow. Yeah. Not in our current plans, but
Now you
I do
mentioned it.
feel silly about.
Oh no, no
about it
worries. I
being
mean,
on
obviously, I mean it's still pre-alpha. I mean, like, which I'm still enjoying it. So, I mean, like, I come on at least spend about 3-4 hours playing it.
At least.
That's probably a lie, more. I just wanted to say that I do have I have a social life.
I don't.
Yeah, Dungeon Defenders has slowly stolen that social life bit by bit. It's slightly crazy.
Honestly, for me, yeah, I wake up, I work on Dungeon Defenders, I play Dungeon Defenders, and then the brief moments of respite I have, I watch TV with my wife, and then go to bed and start it all over again.
We know that feeling well. I think the whole kind of idea that Radley came up with there on the spot, which is quite good, ties into a lot of the comments on the forum as well regarding the whole old middle mouse button to move traps and stuff like that, which used to be one of the old features.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
If you don't know that already, people were saying that in the old Dungeon Defenders you could pick up the traps and move them around.
That would actually help a lot. I mean, sometimes we kind of like built them too close to the cart, and you're like, oh no, and then you kind of press G, which I always press G afterwards. Oh yeah. Also, I was wondering, one of our pals had a question. Is that you can actually attack the guard? Is it a possibility, like if you attack him for a certain amount of time, he does get annoyed and actually does do damage to you?
Which person?
I was one of my friends. He mentioned, unfortunately he's not here, but if you do attack the guard for a long period of time, would it ever attack you back?
I mean, they're trained to put up with a lot of crap. So, he's blocking, he's protecting his dignity as well as his livelihood. But they're trained to not attack you unless you're an enemy of the kingdom.
Okay, so they're pretty much like the Buckingham Palace guards.
Exactly. You can mess with them. You can slap them in the face, and they're just gonna look. Well, I guess if you actually touch them, they'll probably
retaliate at
so
some
maybe
point.
not exactly like the Buckingham Palace guards. So what map do we want to do?
Well, we did Throne Room. I mean, just pick any map. We'll try that.
Let's see. I haven't done sewers in a while, so let's do sewers.
Oh, sewers. Yeah, I remember that.
I've learned how to try and solo this as a monk. I cried.
I tried soloing this as a huntress. Did pretty well, up to the point where they kept attacking the core.
I think that stops everyone.
But the thing is, I didn't have the oh, this sewer map. Oh, okay, I thought it was a different one. Yeah, this one's hard. You can't solo this. I've never tried it.
It's pretty difficult to solo. Well, solo with only one hero.
I don't know.
A second hero, it's pretty
Yeah.
Do you want to try hardcore mode? We try hardcore mode, which just means just like popping the sub-cores, destroying the sub-cores, which then, if you destroy the sub-core, someone actually does come out here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, we could try that. Go hardcore mode.
That sounds good.
So, another random question. Obviously, with Windows 10 in development at the moment and everything else, I thought I'd die as well as a segue there. Are you guys planning to make sure this will support it from the launch of Windows 10? Or because I'll be honest, I'm actually playing this game on the Windows 10 technical preview, and there is no bugs, like random crashes and stuff like that.
I'll be honest. I'm actually not aware. Did you mention a specific feature in Windows 10? Is that what you said?
No, not as a specific feature, but obviously with Windows 10 in development and round the corner to being released, I know a lot of software yet still isn't prepared for it. One of the programs I use for streaming, XSplit, kind of doesn't support Windows 10 any further because it doesn't detect Windows 7 or higher as an operating system. But playing Dungeon Defenders, I don't get random crashes and stuff like that because it's a unsupported piece of software or anything like that.
That's very interesting. I honestly forgot that Windows 10 was a thing. To be honest, I'm sitting here rocking Windows 8, regretting 8. I love 7. 8. I hear good things about 8.1, but I'm also too lazy to upgrade. Like that's a good question. I'm sure our programmers have thought about Windows 10 since it seems to be running well. Things don't just magically happen, but
Oh yeah.
if you ever see anything, definitely report it. But I'm glad to hear that, generally speaking, it's working well.
I'm very conscious I haven't built any. Oh, what the hell have I done with that tower?
Trying to figure out the dragons, where they come from. I'm pretty sure those dragons come from somewhere.
Oh, they come from that subcore, as it goes.
Trying to figure out where to put it. Right then. Are you defending down here?
Where we going? Where we going?
Alright, I'll give you that one. I'll go here. Have you defended your section, or are you just messing around?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm just jumping around, dying, and seeing
You
what
put
happens.
3 towers up. Oh no, okay. Alright, I was just gonna say, like, you really put 3 towers up.
Yeah, that was it.
Alright. Are you defending there? Oh, okay, because I was gonna let the subcore die, but
I'm just gonna see if I can actually just DPS it. But if it dies, no worries. Think we can drop it.
Oh, really?
what did you do?
You know, as soon as we have maps that have them little gaps in,
Yeah.
I'm finding the little gaps. I'm exploring new areas.
Did you just die? Is that what you meant? You
No.
dropped-
Yeah. I was exploring the sewers. Can confirm no hidden content.
I was told there was hidden content. Well, that's, defending the tower and the subcore.
One of the things I'm slowly trying to do is trying to get more of the Dungeon Defenders community sort of into the Twitch universe. Because one of the big things I noticed, like in your dev stream, you get a lot of viewers. But as soon as the dev stream is off, it goes back to the normal streamers and everything else, and they have very little viewers in comparison on a normal day. Because most
so
streams
that's
have
something
like...
we're actually looking into right now.
Yeah.
Is sorry to cut you off there.
No, go for it.
We're working on like a Twitch streamer program, which we're hoping will, at the very least, create more of a community on Twitch for Dungeon Defenders 2. We had a fairly sizable community for Dungeon Defenders 1, but it's early access, and people are probably kind of waiting around for it to come out of early access before they want to watch the content or want to get invested in streaming. But it's definitely something we want to cultivate early, so that's what we're trying to do right now.
And for any potential streamers out there, and myself, is there sort of an online application form they're going to have to go through? Is it community voted or forum based?
So it's going to be application based, and then we're going to have some people who either approve or deny the application. We'll probably keep the team small for the beginning.
Yeah.
Kind of do like a small test run, and then after that we'll probably open it up to more people.
Everything's going horribly wrong.
We'll definitely have information about that. I'm hoping next week.
Does someone just grab the back for a second?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Wait, am I in the wrong section?
Yeah, the other section.
Okay, just push this guy off.
No, I'm back. It's okay. I got him.
He fell out the world.
No.
Alright, sorry we cut you off there.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that it's going to be application based, and hopefully information's next week.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Build more towers. Like, honestly, you just built 2. Just built 2.
There was more. They got destroyed.
Oh, jeez, thank you.
No problem.
I get very competitive when playing games.
He loves his Dungeon Defenders. He's lying.
No one messes with me. There's not gonna be. Would there be? No, there won't be a PvP. No. Would there be a PvP? Just about to say. I don't know if that's a silly question to ask.
So not in our plans. As you may know, we started out as a MOBA, or at least
Yeah.
we had a MOBA mode. Um, so probably not. And if it does happen, it wouldn't happen for a long time, and it
Hmm.
wouldn't be a MOBA.
Yeah. I just thought because there's a lot of games that end up just putting PvP and everything, so I just thought maybe there'd be somehow some PvP aspect there.
So DD1 actually had this really cool mode called Tower Wars, which was if you had to describe it, it would be PvE VP, which was essentially kind of like a campaign mode style tower defense match, except you could buy enemies to send at the enemy team, and it was kind of like
Okay.
how well you did determined like the currency that you could use to buy enemies, and kind of like it was up to you to create, kind of look at their defenses and determine what they would be weak at. So like if you noticed they didn't have any anti-air, you could buy a bunch of wyverns and send them over and kind of mess up their day. And it was essentially the first team to lose a core lost. And that was really interesting. We don't have plans to add that back in just yet, but definitely, personally, I'd love to see that in again.
Yeah, that would be something that'd be pretty cool to have.
Yeah, something to kind of break up the, I wouldn't say the monotony, but definitely break up PvE a bit would be neat, but no plans at the moment for PvP.
Is again, it's early access, so probably no, but obviously there's a lot of DLC that came out on the first version, especially on the Xbox. Because I think my boss was talking about there being the 4 lots of DLC or something, and he was saying he managed to get his characters up to level 82. They had all this gear and stuff like that. I'm assuming long term there might be plans to do something similar, because we've obviously got them 2 hidden hero slots and stuff like that.
So we actually don't have plans to make DLC for DD2. It's going to be free to play,
Okay.
and we're going to support the game on like ethical monetization, like cosmetic purchases and tower skins and stuff like that. But we're not going to sell any gameplay advantage, and we're planning, while our monetization model isn't 100% finalized, we're not planning to sell like DLC, like maps and things of that nature.
I think Radley would really appreciate the customization of his character at the later points.
Yeah, just that I've got stuck with a Love Heart shirt. Not complaining. It'd be just like to see more of the gear where you pick up and just be more on your character. It'd be really cool. You'd be walking into the tavern and someone's like, oh man, that guy's got some sick ass weapon.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of our goal, is create potentials for like really unique looking heroes. So I can kind of talk about this a little bit. So we actually have our hero aesthetic purchases would be costumes, which are like complete head to toe makeover of your hero, kind of like a skin in League. And then we'd have embellishments, which are kind of like smaller accessories that you can kind of mix and match. And we have the idea that some of these purchases might actually evolve as you have them equipped for a long time and use them for a long time. So like, you might have like the base version of the costume, but like it might take a while to like evolve it. So you'll see someone with like the same costume, but further along in its evolution, and you'll be like, damn, that guy has played a lot.
That's pretty cool. So it's very similar to the Arcanas in Dota 2, for instance, where you kind of you buy it and you then have to go kill 200 people in a certain way to unlock the next phase.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Also, I was going to say is more of the dailies. Would there be not really a daily, but kind of is actually. Yes, you can get 2 within one day. But would there be more of those type of quests, like just like grinding mobs?
So I feel like that's 2 questions. One is that will there be more daily missions? Yeah, absolutely. Will there be more of that specific type of daily mission? Maybe. We definitely are looking at the metrics of which ones players are choosing, and we'll kind of like base it off of that. But we do have some plans to like really flesh out the daily mission system and really make it something special. And you might be seeing that sooner rather than later.
That'd be good to see. What would you say, roughly, I was going to say, like, the next patch or updates on regarding or everything? Just find out what more is going to be implemented into the game.
You know, I'm just gonna be safe and say that I can't answer that.
That's a very loaded question.
I do apologize for not being able to answer all of these questions.
No, it's,
you know,
No,
like,
fully
love to,
understandable.
but-
It's early access and things are still being planned, and
Yeah.
secret meetings are being held. And...
Or we still don't have access to. But at least I found out the legendary spot. I found a legendary spot, and that's pretty good. I like jumping around. It's just like be from like World of Warcraft, where you're in Stormwind, just waiting for like your raid to start or anything like that, and you'd be trying to just try and find exploits to kind of go underneath the map and stuff like that. I'm not saying that you'd be exploiting the game, but yeah, just trying to.
No, I get what you mean.
Just explore and just find something that's hidden.
Well, it's like going back to my accidental pronunciation of the tower earlier. People jumping around on all the different flags and everything else to see who can get the highest on the map. Even though it's like pretty much hard to do, a lot of people try and do it and go, you know, I'm the top of this tree, and I've got my little ball.
Yeah, the tower is amazing just for like walking around and seeing all the different what are they, guardians in Destiny, and you know, just really it's nice to see when people appreciate a designed space the way they appreciate the tower. And you know, that's certainly a design goal for us in the tavern, is are people connecting with it to the degree that they should? Like, I mean, when you play a level, you generally, unless it's, you know, something like DE Dust and Counter-Strike and things where you get nostalgic about it, but I mean, I feel like people connected with the tower in Destiny and on such a personal level.
Yeah.
You know, they're very fond of the NPCs that are there, like the well, I say fond, at least they have stories about the NPCs, like the I forget his name, the dude who decrypts your engrams.
Yes. And they put that little placement in the cave. And also, if you stay there for a wee bit longer, you can actually. I think it makes a noise saying how many more do we need for him.
Really?
Yeah, they added that into the game. It's just really cool because I remember just standing around just farming that spot non-stop. It was like the farming cave. Once I found out that people were doing it, I was like, oh well, I'm standing here, and then like all the loot was dropping. I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
I think one of the interesting things, like with Xur as well, the whole RNG aspect, is that people kind of. They had a problem with it, they didn't like what was happening, but people took to the community in such a huge way that all of a sudden we had a Twitter account that was someone pretended to be Xur and they were posting new things and everyone was having a laugh. I think that sort of attachment to a game is amazing.
Yeah, that was beautiful about all the bring me a purple, I turn it to a green, I turn it to a blue. Such a troll.
They fixed
they fixed it. Unfortunately, I did stop playing before they fixed it. I was getting kind of frustrated by the RNG elements there. Of like, I don't know. It kind of they totally understood it too. That's why they fixed it. But it took away from the joy of seeing that you had potentially something amazing, and then it turns to complete crap. And you're like,
I thought it brought an interesting level of disappointment. There was not like in this game. You know, you picked up a legendary, like yes. Brilliant! I can go pick that up and see what. Oh, it's a green.
Well, at least in this one, or at least in our game, it does stay what it is, but it also, it has a gold value attached to it. It has potential to be a legendary that's useful for another hero. But man, in Destiny, that was rough. It's like you picked it up, it turned to a green, and you're like, this is like the first purple I've seen in like 10 hours.
Yeah. If you had one in 10 hours, I'm jealous. I spent about. It was 4 months until I saw my first legendary drop.
Oh, whoa.
I was very upset.
I bought mine. I had enough.
That's the answer to it. So obviously, another quick question for you, as you kind of got into the loot, or we got into the loot sort of there, is the upgrades in the tower. And I don't know what the future plans for it at the moment, but it is always going to stay the same sort of thing where you sacrifice items to upgrade certain aspects of your one item. Is there a chance of it ever failing? That what's going to happen with it basically long term?
So I believe our second phase on item enhancement isn't going to come in for quite some time.
Okay.
But I mean, I almost just jumped off right there. It's probably going to stay where you slot items into a wheel and it'll upgrade. But we do have some interesting ideas on other loot drops that you could pick up that could potentially make that item different in a certain way. Or
I can't wait to see that.
That's definitely not finalized. Like I said, it's a long time before we touch that again. I believe we're gonna make some minor changes to it. I believe we've got the bug right now where it takes, good God, so long to upgrade an item. That's going to be fixed very soon. You'll be able to skip all the item upgrades.
I was just about to ask that, and I didn't know how you take it. Because I upgrade constantly, and most of the people do, but I just constantly keep clicking to get to the next level. Like, because 1 to 10 is like 60 to 120, and that's easy to get to, and it just like goes up and up and up. And it's like, how would you skip it? Would it just be like one button that skips it all, or?
Yeah, one button, skip it all. And also, don't be afraid to say something that you don't like or mention something that is potentially bad. I mean, seriously, that's what early access is for. Like, if players hadn't spoken up and said, "Wow, this really sucks," we might not have thought about it. I think Bungie, speaking of Destiny, Bungie has the best analogy for game development, which is it's like building a cathedral in a hurricane, and you have all these different pieces that you build kind of in isolation, and they start to come together. You start thinking about all these pieces, and sometimes you kind of overlook some of the player experience elements of a certain piece. So that's why early access is so great. You get to hear these people who play your game for hundreds and hundreds of hours while you're still developing the game. They can be like, "You guys, why didn't you think of this? This really sucks." And you're like, "Oh, yeah, that really sucks. We're sorry." And then you go and you fix it.
I think that's normal. As again, coming from the software side of things, when it comes to developing software as a whole, including games and everything else, especially for developers, when you start this, sticking to the requirements and you're working your way through, it's very easy to overlook very small things, and it only takes a bit of feedback to get it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and those small things, at least from my experience in game communities, those tend to be the things that players really latch onto.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess it might not be small. I will actually say that my experience in communities, I've been here at Trinity for 4 years now, but before I was at Trinity, I was actually heavily involved with the Halo community. So I worked on a Halo fan site, and something that they tend to latch onto were minor changes in weapon damage, or playlist weapon starts. That's bigger. That's definitely bigger. But they certainly latch on to these details and focus on them for so long. In their details that you may not have thought about for an extreme amount of time in development. So it's always interesting. I know I'm kind of tangenting, but it's always interesting to see what details of your game players are going to latch on and talk about.
Yeah. And that's where your fan sites come in really handy as well. That sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Did we have an ogre? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Is that where the 4 turrets are?
Avoiding the snot.
Yeah, I was actually surprised when he actually did that. I did not see that coming. I was like, whoa. Him just targeting you. That was pretty cool.
Nicely done.
Towers for the win.
And he dropped nothing but crap.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the chests when you do incursion mode, I keep getting greens. Is there a possibility? Yes, I get greens. It's becoming a bit
Radley has a bit of a problem with RNG luck. I'm not much better, but we have a friend that obviously keeps mentioning Max who plays with us that seems to be very, very lucky with RNG.
Yep.
So,
I just keep getting the greens every single time.
He's a little bit salty over his green chests.
I hear that. So we did increase the in-game chest roll chance in our last hotfix, I believe. But it sounds like it wasn't enough. So I'll send that piece of feedback to our designers.
Because I mean, like you do incursion mode, and at the end you just hope it's not a blue or a green, and it ends up being a green.
I mean, I will say that, like every good RNG system, there does need to be the chance for you to absolutely fail. I mean, that's kind of inherent in an RNG system, is that you need to feel. I think you mentioned this before, like disappointed and kind of a good disappointment. I think that there are certain systems that do need that kind of disappointment element, and I will say that maybe we haven't quite figured out the best disappointment element for in-game chess, because I do notice that players, particularly in-game players, have kind of started to just avoid even activating the in-game chest.
Oh wow!
It's like perhaps the chance of disappointment is too high, and they're just kind of not caring anymore.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. And I think on the flip side of that, when you mentioned disappointment, there is you guys seem to have it really well when you lose a map. I mean, I've sat there plenty of times gone, okay, I've lost, I failed miserably. Let's do that again. I want my loot. I want that chest, regardless if it's green or not. And we've managed to bug the map.
Oh, how do we manage to bug the map?
The enemies are inside the portal.
Oh, you can fight through them. Trust me.
Okay. So we have a slight bit of auto aim in our game, and there's a bug where it's affecting abilities in a strange way. So you're looking straight ahead, and I don't know if you just saw that incredibly miserable ability that is shut off, but I was looking straight ahead at that enemy and just soared right over their heads.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
That's
no, I just
beautiful.
witnessed that as well.
That was pretty good.
And
You
obviously,
take you into incursion mode when you get 25.
as I mentioned earlier to Radley, devs, when they're in a game, have a white name.
Yes.
Have a look. Oh, actually, you know what? The first time I keep complaining about getting greens, I actually got a blue box.
Nice.
Right, but unfortunately, it's not in incursion mode.
I just got a green, but it just upgraded to blue. So
That's what I like also, is that you has a chance to upgrade to the next. I've never seen a legendary one pop out, so I'm waiting for that day, that one day.
You'll see it all over the forums.
Aye.
I think it was in our Facebook group. Somebody has finally gotten a legendary chest. I've seen it. I've seen it in the wild. I can make it pop whenever I want on the dev build, but I've seen it in the wild finally.
Well, we shall keep our eyes out. I think we need to say goodbye to you, don't we? You've got another community event.
Yeah, we're actually running late on the other meeting, but it's fine. I really enjoyed talking with you guys.
No, it was great.
It was great. Yeah.
Hopefully we can catch up with you in the future in some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Just drop me another line.